monstrosity. Boy, that flew. Well, sometimes when they're hit, they stay hit. Kieran Tierney.
Welcome back to After Extra Time, the World Football Podcast for the 2022-23 season. And boy, oh boy, are we excited to get back into things. The first order of business is to introduce a man who needs no introduction. He is the editor-in-chief at thesportsbank.net, author of Transatlantic Passage, How the Premier League Redefined Soccer in America, and one of my best buds, Mr. Paul M. Banks. Feels like it's been forever, man. How are you? What's been happening?
Yes, this is a proof of life podcast. We're still here. We're still around. It does feel like it's been forever. I really missed catching up with you. I really missed doing that every week. June was the last time we recorded, and so much has happened. As of you know, it was just a couple hours ago before we started recording that Chelsea and the Chicago Fire announced that the Gaga Slonina transfer was now official.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. You've been the intrepid reporter. I seen that news drop on the Sports Bank ages ago. What's going on, mate? Why aren't you getting the credit you deserve for that one?
Yeah, I wish I knew the answer to that. They're not giving me credit. Saturday night, I saw ESPN crediting the Athletic about the transfer fee, crediting Fabrizio Romano in the scoop. And then, of course, as ESPN always does, they say their own sources, and then they say the word ESPN like 4 times within the body of the article whenever they report anything. But I had this 2.5 weeks ago. I even had the transfer fee to the dime spot on because I have sources within the Fire organization. And I don't know. The only people crediting for this are my usual loyal following, my usual readers and listeners. That's about it. But I was right, man.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Don't believe what you read out there, ladies and gentlemen. Paul had this scoop first. Go onto the sportsbank.net. What a website. Scroll back through for a couple of weeks and you'll see that he broke this news yonks ago. Building on top of that is it's a pretty exciting move for the young goalie, and he's being loaned back to the Fire for a little while, yeah?
Yes, this is how it's going to work. He's going to finish out MLS season here, and he's going to make a run at Tony Meola's MLS single season clean sheets record. I believe it's 16 and he's got 10. And we've got all of August, all of September, and a game or two in October to get there. And you got to think that now they can expunge Kepa over time. Is, you know, they can. I think what's really going to happen is he's going to be Chelsea. He's going to be going out on loan to like big clubs in Europe and take a big. So basically the deal is he's a Chelsea player now being loaned back to Chicago to the end of the season. January 1, he becomes a Chelsea player, and you know, he could be groomed to be their number 2. In terms of supplanting Mendy, I don't know. That's a big step yet. He's only 18 years old. He's the youngest player in Fire history to ever join a Big 5 league, and he's the most expensive sale in the history of the Chicago Fire at $10 million, with another 5 in add-ons possible, which could bring it to $15 million. And you got to think he could be the USA number 1 at some point, because we know that position is not settled.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think last time we spoke about how he is eligible for dual nations, USA and Poland, but he's fully declared for the United States now.
Yes, he is. He is ours. Yes.
That's fantastic. That's great news for the US going forwards. There's quite the crew of backup keepers that are from the United States in the Premier League these days, right?
Zach Steffen, Matt Turner. Now, Gabriel Slonina. We know him as Gaga, but Gabriel is his real name.
Yeah. That's incredible. You think Matt Turner is one that really interests me? Do you think that he'll get a decent crack at it at Arsenal this year? Do you think he might get to play some Premier League games?
I think he'll be the cup keeper for sure. I think we'll see him in some cup games. I just don't know who is going to assert themselves and be the USA number one, because like you said, these are all backup keepers. So who's going to go and get that time?
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, people forget, especially this year, especially this transfer window, it's all about getting that playing time to make the national team.
absolutely. I guess that puts Gaga in a good spot if he's turning out regularly for the Fire for the rest of the season. If he's the one getting the regular football, even despite his tender age, perhaps he'll be the one that gets the nod.
And he's homegrown too. He's from suburban Addison. So a lot of pride here. And being a lifelong Chicagoan as I am, I have taken a lot of pride in that, in a homegrown.
It's always nice to see a hometown boy come good. And that's fantastic. I'll be watching his career with great interest, Paul, considering our connection. But let's not get bogged down in the Gaga Slanina of it all. Let's talk about preseason.
Yeah, that's as we always end this show with, "Hey, mate, Paul, tell what you got going on, mate." And I'm like, if only we had done this, because this is the ultimate "what have you got going on?"
Well, if I may, Paul, what did you have going on?
Oh, what did I have going on? Well, glad you asked, Stuart. Yeah, I went to, it was July 23rd, so it wasn't this past Saturday, but it was the week before. I drove over 3.5 hours to Green Bay, the not yet frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, one of the most cathedral of sport. The Green Bay Packers art of football, what the New York Yankees art of baseball. Just a cathedral of not just football, but sport. And this was the first soccer game in their history. And it was Bayern Munich versus Manchester City. And they got about 75,000, I think. It holds 81,000. So I heard 78,000. So pretty much a full house.
Mm-hmm.
It was a chance, it just meant so much to me because with COVID, no one came here the last 2 summers with COVID. Yep. I love these things. We'll get into this tonight. We'll get into this on the show about the preseason tour stuff. No one came to Chicago. This was the only thing drivable, and you get. It's just to actually get in the mix zone and get into press conferences, big names, and it was just so exciting. It was, and there's just so much going on, because it's like the NFL imagery of Green Bay. You've got the Premier League imagery, and you got the British press traveled, the German press traveled, 3 different countries, cultures mixing together. I mean, it was wonderful. It was amazing.
Okay, well, let's take this beat by beat, mate. I'm looking at your notes from your trip to watch City and Munich playing Green Bay there. So tell me about this crazy commute and the lightning storms.
Yeah, well, first, this is what happens in life. Like, whenever there's something big and you've been looking forward to it forever, both of my animals got sick that week. Both Otis the cat and Stella the dog. I was running around with vet appointments all week, really beginning to wonder if I was going to be able to do this or not, or if I could do it and then I don't enjoy it because I'm worried about the pets back home. I went and got my tires checked and all the gauges and everything a couple weeks before to make sure I was good to go for this. Sure as the tire, the warning light goes on anyway in the middle of the
of course, yeah.
Course, turned out to be nothing. The sensors just overly sensitive, but yeah, of course and so now that's in your mind, that's in your head. And man, I'll never forget like driving over the bridge on the river that leads into Green Bay, because Green Bay sits on Lake Michigan, seeing those annual clouds, those storm clouds, and the people that follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you saw those dark storm clouds. I mean, it was just driving in like that menacing, scary sky.
Yeah.
3 lightning delays, totaling over an hour. they got to a point where they reduced halftime to just 5 minutes, and they played 40-minute halves instead of 45-minute halves because of all the delays.
Oh wow, that's fascinating. So the lightning storms occurred during the game also.
Yeah, I didn't sleep because I'm excited about this and worried about the pets, worried about the tire stuff, on this long commute. And then when I get there, my phone is blaring with the emergency broadcast system because of all the tornadoes. No, not tornadoes, the lightning. And kudos to the groups of fans. You had massive groups of fans, but they kept during the lightning storm, they're like, go into the concourse, like get out of the seating bowl, get out of the stands, go into but they just stayed out there in the rain. They didn't care.
That's incredible. So 78,000 people standing out there watching Manchester City Bayern Munich in, what sounds like pretty horrific lightning and thunderstorm conditions. Seems like there might just be a tiny bit of an appetite for more top tier football there.
Yeah, I mean, I was, people joke about City not having fans because, their history began in 2008. Had to throw that in there. But I saw lots of City material. I don't know who had more fans. It felt about even. I felt like I saw as much sky blue as I saw Munich colors. Both trophies, they each had like a fan section. The Premier League trophy was in one side. You can go see the Bundesliga trophy in the other. They had, it was just so much fun. I was able to go out in the field before the game, despite the drizzle and rain. I went out there on the field and kind of took it all in. John Champion, and I don't know the other guy. His name is the other guy that called the game for ESPN. I ran into both of them out on the field, talked to them for a while. And I knew Bayern would draw well because Wisconsin is like Germany. Wisconsin is every town in Wisconsin has a German town. It's bratwurst everywhere. It's like Oktoberfest all the time and beer, and it's so that the German culture is really big in Wisconsin. I knew they would draw well, but I was really pleasantly surprised to see just how big of a following City had for this.
Absolutely. I guess with the German connection and Erling Haaland or Haaland, I'm not sure, signing for Manchester City, I guess that might have helped with the draw. Plus, let's face it, as much as you and I probably hate to admit it, Manchester City are, one of the preeminent teams in world football at the moment. So it's good that they drew well. Let's get to what happened on the pitch. I see on your notes here that Raheem Sterling won a man of the match he couldn't claim because of sponsor connection. Now that's interesting in itself, and I want to hear about that. But also, is there a chance that you saw Raheem Sterling's last game for Manchester City?
Oh yeah, I should have clarified this. This is about preseason tours in general. I figured, this would be the perfect. This is, season 2, episode 1, but it's the summer series finale. And the summer series of preseason tours. This was a big one in that so many teams came to the United States and came to Australia. But no, that was referring to his Liverpool days, actually.
Oh, okay. Fascinating. Let me know about it.
All right. So it was 2014. And Liverpool played Olympiacos at Soldier Field, and we all got to vote in the press box about the man of the match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sponsored by Guinness.
Yep.
And because you have to be 21 to drink in America, and he was 19 or 20 at the time, he won man of the match for this friendly, and he couldn't accept it because it was sponsored by Guinness.
Oh, wow. How fascinating. That's incredible. I guess that kind of speaks to, how young some of these players are when they get their big breaks, right?
Yeah, and I'll also remember that match for the post-game press conference with Olympiacos that lasted less than 2 minutes because none of the reporters knew anything about the Greek club or knew what to say, and it all had to be translated in Greek. And
Oh wow.
there was this one idiot. He's like, "So, is this like your preseason? Is this when you
Oh my God.
evaluate players and stuff for the season?"
Yeah, right. Okay. Jesus.
And then this other moron asked, I was like, "So, what did you think of the players that you saw?"
So clearly uneducated on the club.
Not that I'm an Olympiacos expert either, but it was embarrassing. Like I felt sorry for him.
Okay, well, I'm sorry I took us on that little detour there. I misread the notes. Tell us what happened on the pitch in the let's go back to City Bayern. What happened on the pitch there, mate?
Well, Holland scored 12 minutes in, and then a lightning delay happened, and that stood up as the only goal for the game because City kind of dominated them. Bayern had one opportunity early on, but it was called off for offside. Or I think it is Erling. It is Holland, right?
I'm not sure. Haaland. I don't know. I'm gonna have to listen to the commentators in the Premier League this weekend and get the pronunciation down pat.
Well, there's I saw this funny video that City put out. It has like this weird, awkward guy. I guess it's kind of funny. It's kind of weird. The dude is like, "Welcome to training camp. Welcome to training camp," and he's meeting everybody and has weird things. And with Erling Haaland, he said, "You are a Nordic meat shield."
Oh my God.
So I guess we could just call him the Nordic meat shield.
What a thing to say to a person. My goodness. I don't know how I would respond to that if I was Mr. Haaland. Oh, we got to do something about this name. It's a tricky one. So it ended 1-0. Was that his first goal in a City shirt, or?
That was his first appearance in a City shirt, his first start, his first goal. He had a second one, but it was called off for offsides. And just in the mixed zone or going through the tunnel, I shot a video of him walking out, and De Bruyne is standing right next to him, and I'm like, man, Kevin De Bruyne, former PFA Player of the Year, legend of the game, and you're like, oh, who cares? There's Haaland. We want to see Haaland.
Yeah. Well, I guess
that's just like how crazy it is. Like I swear the Guardian ranked Erling Haaland as the 7th best footballer on the planet, and hopefully he'll be number 1 at some point, so I can cash in that rookie card I have of him.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about your rookie card. Yeah. Honestly, it's ominous that he scores 12 minutes into his City debut. I see he's been maligned a little bit for his performance in the Community Shield. I think that's a little bit unfounded. I think people that don't know a lot about football will probably be the ones that are ragging on him for his performance. He gave the Liverpool defenders hell, and he's going to score buckets of goals this season, 30, maybe even 40 plus. He's just a freak of nature. He's so tall. I mean, you would know. You've seen him in person. He's a big boy. He's lightning quick, and he's just got skill as well. I don't see how anyone's going to be able to stop him this season in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I was the only one wearing a mask in the little reporter horde around him, the gaggle around him. I'm like, if you're going to get these close to people, you should probably wear a mask, even though I have both boosters and both vaccines. But my God, he's like tall. When you see him in person, he's just seems even bigger than he looks on TV. And so you thought he tore up Liverpool defenders in that glorified friendly. Like, what did you think?
He gave them hell. I think it was. This has been said in analysis of the match since, so I won't spend too much time going over it. But I think it was the City midfielders and fullbacks that kind of made him look a little bit bad by not playing the right passes. I'll put that down to him just being new in the team and City being used to playing a different way with the slow build up. They need to play the quick passes because he is so lightning quick. And once they get that all down pat, they're going to be really hard to stop.
The thing is, I think it's all because of that clip, because we live in a world of sound bites and attention spans that are like, unparalleled with brain dead mosquitoes. It's that sitter he missed, and because he like skied it so bad.
Yeah. So that one miss was probably, it was a pretty bad miss. You could see he was pretty miffed at himself afterwards. But like you just said, Paul, it was a glorified friendly. I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, for goodness sake, just switching things to a Liverpool nature, which is my way.
Which is how you do it, yeah.
Darwin Núñez, in his first 2 appearances for Liverpool in friendlies, he played a total of 59 minutes, and he had a bit of a rough time of it. Missed a few chances that perhaps he should have taken, and you would just think that he's the biggest flop since Andy Carroll, if you believed everything that was written online. And it's because, like you said, it's easy to just get a TikTok or a Twitter video that goes for 10, 15 seconds just of these misses, and it makes them look like the worst players in the world, when in reality that couldn't be further from the truth.
Exactly. And I'm just glad to say I was part of history. That was his first game in a City shirt, first goal. And I wonder if, Pep, everything about how they've had no recognized striker for so long, now they will. And I think it's overshadowed with Darwin Núñez because Núñez, comes from a league. It's not, he comes from a league in a team that's not as visible as Bundesliga and Borussia Dortmund. Holland obviously comes from the bloodline. His dad playing having City, his dad being close to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Núñez has gone under the radar, but when all is said and done, what if Núñez ends up being outscoring him? And I guess it was just meant to be. You break the Liverpool transfer fee record, people are just gonna over scrutinize right off.
I think this season will probably, it'll probably boil down to Liverpool and City again. We've got some rapid fire predictions we're going to do later on in the episode, so I won't step on those too much. But Núñez is he's a good player, and there are a little bit of similarities in the signing of the what do you call him, the Norwegian meat shield, and Darwin,
the Nordic meat shield, yes,
Nordic meat shield, sorry, and Darwin Núñez, because everybody knows Roberto Firmino at Liverpool is not your typical number 9. Both sides, both Guardiola's City and Klopp's Liverpool have kind of found a way to dominate the Premier League and score a lot without having that old fashioned stick it in the back of the net, play the width of the 6-yard box number 9, and they've both gone and signed one this off season. So I think it'll be fascinating to see how that all plays out.
All right, Stu, let's do this rapid fire while we still have everyone's attention. We're going to do top 6, bottom 3, and our wild card team for this year's Premier League season. The wild card could be any team that you think will surprise in the season ahead.
Okay, mate.
So I'm gonna let you start.
You're gonna let me go first? What do you want? What do you want from me, mate? How are we doing this? Top 6, bottom 3, or wild card?
Let's what do they say? Put your best foot forward, lead with strength. Give me your top 6.
Okay, so it will be, to the shock of nobody, that I've got Manchester City and Liverpool finishing first and second. Honestly, just play it again. I think Manchester City will likely pip Liverpool to the title by a small margin again. I've got Tottenham Hotspur, Antonio Conte, and the North London club have had an impressive transfer window, so I've got them coming in third. Arsenal just beating Ten Hag's United to 4th spot, United in 5th spot, and I think Chelsea are gonna slip backwards a little bit. I don't think signing Raheem Sterling is the answer to their goal scoring woes. personally. So that's my top 6, mate. Who have you got?
Mine's very, very similar. It's almost identical, except I just flipped United and Arsenal. I am totally with you about Spurs. I think Antonio Conte is underrated as a manager. I think he's the kind of guy that when he gets in his groove, he's excellent, but it always kind of works out where he wears out his welcome.
Yeah.
Kind of goes too far. He's got not, like Jose Mourinho's third season syndrome. But for Conte, his era is just getting going at Spurs, and he's putting his stamp on the team. Like I think, yes, Liverpool and City are better than everyone else, but don't sleep on them. It's not that much of a drop off anymore. For some reason, I think United is going to have like addition by subtraction to get into fourth. I like what Arsenal have done. They've strengthened, they've gotten better, but I think United are actually going to be, because Ten Hag, he takes no crap from anybody. And I think his hardline ways, and you've got all the goofs are gone now with Lingard and Pogba, and Ronaldo, we'll just save that for next week. I mean, that's a whole other episode we could about Ronaldo. And I'm with you on Chelsea. That seems to be a lot of experts seem to agree with us on that. Their transfer window is getting better. They're about to get a defender from Brighton to go along with getting Gaga Slonina. So now they'll have 4 new additions, but they started late, and that's how it just works. If you put your transfer business off until later, you're going to end up with slim pickings. And I think they will honestly be hard pressed to. I think they're going to be sweating about staying in Europe this year.
I've got a couple of points to make from what you said there. But first of all, it's interesting with Chelsea that, they started so well last season. We thought maybe they can break this duopoly that Manchester City and Liverpool have. And it's fascinating to see how far they've dropped off. And the second more pertinent thing to you specifically, Paul, is it must be heartening to see Manchester United playing with a defined style. Everyone's singing from the same hymn book. Things are looking up for your boys.
I think so. I get the hatred for the Glazers, and that's well deserved. But the Glazers have spent. They do spend. They just spend poorly. And if they would just let someone else handle all that, like not Ed Woodward, because he's an investment banker. I'm not super excited about Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh so far. Their transfer window has been okay. It hasn't been great. But again, if all those people stay out of it, you have a really strong leader. There's talent. It's just a matter of you just had the inmates running the asylum too much. And if Ten Hag, is a good, strong leader, I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, if I can build on the inmates running the asylum analogy there, it's good to have a strong warden in charge. And like we spoke about in the last few episodes of last season's Premier League season, just give Ten Hag time, and I guess more importantly, control as well of comings and goings in the first team.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the Ronaldo question's a big one, and we'll save that for next week. But if you could just get a good holding midfielder, a good defensive midfielder, maybe Jadon Sancho becomes the future of the attack. He starts to develop into that. Like I said, I think you get rid of, people always forget. A transfer window is about who you sell and who you got rid of as much as it's about who you sign. And
absolutely,
a lot of, there's still some junk on the team. There's still some garbage on the team, but a lot of it's gone. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move this prediction section on, shall we? Paul, do you want to grace us with your relegation trio, your bottom 3?
Yeah, actually, why don't we start with yours?
Okay, no problems. So I'm going a couple of obvious ones. Bournemouth, who have just been promoted. Nottingham Forest as well. I think we'll do a bit of a drop straight back down, which is unfortunate because I'm excited that Forest is back in the league. I really want them to do well because I'm a late 80s, 90s kid, and having not the likes of Nottingham Forest, Leeds, etc., back in the league is really cool. But unfortunately, I think they'll drop back down. They've just signed too many players, in my opinion. And at the risk of losing my Bees membership and no longer being a Bee leaver, I think Brentford are going to get whacked with the second season syndrome. Their sophomore year is not going to be a nice one, and they are going to be relegated.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on that. I just wanted to hear your rationale first. That's why I asked you to go first, but I'm actually with you on that. Well, on most of them. Brentford, I think are going to be 19th. I think losing Christian Eriksen is going to hurt. I really like that signing for United, by the way, even though he's not like, he's not like a major star or something, but I think he's a good role player.
He's a good point of difference for the United midfield. He plays a similar role to Bruno, but is completely different. So when it's not working with Bruno, if you can chuck Christian Eriksen on, I mean, gee whiz, like you said, he's a fantastic squad player to have.
Plus, he defines someone who really wants to be there. And that is like the polar opposite of Paul Pogba. And I think United's biggest problem has been guys who don't want to be there. They just want to, be
just there for the status or the check.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Take that Glazer money and be a celebrity and whatever. But so like I said, Brentford, I think they'll finish 19th. Forest, I think, is going to survive, but barely. I think Forest is going to go down to the last day or week, and they'll get that 17th position. They'll get that last safety position.
Okay.
Bournemouth, I'm with you. I don't see anything there. And this is going to pain me to say it as an American, but it is what it is, and I'm gonna say it. My bottom side, I see just locked in, is Leeds United because they sold off. Yeah.
I did not see that coming. Gee whiz. Sorry to interrupt. Please go on. I'm fascinated to hear this.
They sold off Rafinha, however you pronounce it. They sold off Calvin Phillips. They did a lot of selling, and when you just survive just on the brink and you're selling off your most talented players, I think you're in trouble.
We are very USMNT friendly here, so I hope people remember that when I say this. But Tyler Adams is definitely a downgrade on Calvin Phillips, and Brendan Aronson is probably a downgrade on Rafinha as well.
It's true. I mean, we gotta be objective,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You threw me with that one, Paul. I did not expect that to happen. For what it's worth, I think Leeds will probably not surprise anyone this year, but maybe I've got a little bit more hope that they can stay in the league. Wow. So just building on that prediction, do you think Jesse Marsch will last the season?
I think he will. I think they will probably understand that they kind of hamstrung him. They'll give him a chance to be a good championship manager. I think they do believe in him. I think it's too early to give him the sack. I mean, I know that's not the Premier League way. I know, it's not like Watford where they change managers like every 2 weeks. Good.
Yeah, I guess there is quite the transition happening from Bielsa ball to the style of football that Jesse Marsch wants to play. So I guess that kind of that builds into it a little bit. I personally hope that Leeds stay up. I'll be shattered if Leeds and Nottingham Forest got relegated. That'd be terrible. But
it is. It really is. I'm with you. Like I don't like this. I like the old school traditional teams that have been down in the second tier forever coming back. This is really cool.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I remember a year ago, some guy this guy I do a podcast with, this Australian guy. He was so certain about who is gonna finish dead last. Naked.
Yes, I still get added by Crystal Palace fans about that. So, I learned my lesson. I haven't gone quite as strong this year. Brentford fans might agree to disagree on that one, but I guess it's fun. It's fun that we've got some different ones here, mate, and that'll give us some banter fuel as we head down to the final stretches of the season.
Yeah, it's interesting because the you just never know. It's I kind of agreed with you a year ago in this space. Well, not a year ago, because actually everything is starting up a week early. This is a week early for the World Cup. And as of this recording, championship regular season games have already been played.
That's crazy. It's literally the beginning of August and there's already league football being played. It's incredible, isn't it?
I couldn't get over the Community Shield just coming up. Like when I was in Green Bay and Julian Nagelsmann from Bayern is like, we have to prepare for RB Leipzig on Saturday. And I'm like, what? Like, I was like, yeah, what is the DFP pokal, whatever the German Cup is. Pep was talking about playing Liverpool, and I was just like, oh my God, the thing that's like not a preseason game, but it is a preseason game, but it's also a trophy game and whatever that is. And I was like, oh my God, how is that upon us already?
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's move on to the wild cards, Paul. I did kind of spring this one on you, mate.
Well, we have the same one, and we've already talked about them. So
okay. Well, let me just lay it out for people. I think Tottenham Hotspur. This is the reason I've got them as the wild card, and probably similar for you too. And we did touch on it during the top six. I think that Spurs are going to run City and Liverpool close this season. Yves Bissouma in midfield is going to give them something completely different to what they had last season. Ivan Perisic is just a winner, and he knows how to play. Excuse me, and he knows how to play in that Antonio Conte system as well. And Richarlison, love him or hate him, I think he's just going to be even better with better players around him. And I don't know if he's going to be expected to back it up week on week. He'll probably play 20, 25 games, but much like when we mentioned about Eriksen at Manchester United, geez, what an option to have coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much depth to work with. I think, Tottenham it's been a rebuild, and now it's starting to come full circle for them. I mean, there were a lot of great players under Pochettino, and now you've got. I just like the transfer business they did. I mean, again, it goes back to. You hand your manager a big war chest full of money. You strike early and often in the window. Mm-hmm. I like the Perisic acquisition as well. I don't even know who else to really pick for a wild card. I really don't. I wonder who's gonna challenge the big six, if there is going to be anybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, West Ham have been. But I wonder if their window is now closed for that. I think they had their window to make Champions League, and now it's closed.
Way back when we first started this podcast, Paul, we had a segment called Football Focus. And our very first Football Focus was have West Ham miss their window to be European challengers. And then they went ahead and did what they did last season. So, maybe they've got a little bit left in them. Oh, do you have anything from your week ahead you want to share with our listeners, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to get the Bayern Munich scarf that I ordered for my girlfriend, Kristen, because believe it or not, she was actually born in the town of Munich.
Oh, wow.
She's American, but just a little fun fact. And happy birthday, Mom, number 80. So,
wow.
Family birthday party on Sunday, and shout out to my sister Rachel, who lives on the Fox River, for hosting.
Fantastic. Happy 80th birthday, Mama Banks. That's a fantastic milestone. I hope you have a great time, mate. But But if that's what you've got, that's what I've got, and that's it for another week. As per usual, follow us at our Twitter account at @AfterET_podcast. Or if you don't like me, just follow Paul at Paul M. Banks. If you don't like Paul, just follow me at Stewie is Sick of It. Or, of course, you can follow us both. You can also follow Edge of the Crowd on most social media channels. That's at Edge of the Crowd. Check out Edge of the Crowd, Australia's leading sports news and pop culture website. Be sure to get all your latest football news at thesportsbank.net. Paul's breaking stories left, right, and center. He had the drop on the Gaga Slanina transfer.
Take it to the bank, baby. That's like Fabrizio's got Here We Go. Take it to the bank will be mine.
Take it to the bank. Absolutely. And last but not least, show the third member of the pod some love by following at Otis Ginger Tabby on Instagram. If you enjoyed the podcast, please click that subscribe button. And if you really dig it, please take the time to give us the 5-star rating. But until next week, he's Paul M. Banks. I'm Stuart Kavanagh, and this has been After Extra Time.